What's good, people? It's your boy Chad from the Realest podcast server with a major announcement. 2025 tax season is officially here, and we're partnering with Philly's #1 tax accountants to get you the maximum refund for the least expensive price. All tax season, TP Taxes is doing $75 simple returns, and you don't even have to come to the office to get it done. 1099s, LLCs, corporations, we got y'all covered as well. Contact us today at 215-TP Taxes or visit us online at tptaxes.com to lock in your free consultation from the best accountants in the country. Mention TRPE to unlock additional discounts and financial services.
Y'all's the hate on all of my moves, but now niggas on it. Y'all used to bait me on me and my views, but now niggas on it. I used to tell them I'ma have me a show, but now niggas on it. Her homies on it, your homies on it. Y'all's the hate on all of my moves, but now niggas on it. Y'all used to debate me on me and my views, but now niggas on it. I used to tell them I'ma have me a show, but now niggas on it. Her homies on it, your homies on it. Realest podcast.
TRP Nation, what's good? We're on location today. We're in the heart of West Philly. Here bringing you a show today with a very, very special guest to help everybody get prepared for this upcoming 2025 tax season. We know y'all worry about the refunds. Y'all try to make sure y'all max that money out. And most importantly, make sure that you are audit proof and you don't get jammed up. But if you do, our guest today be able to help you, walk you through that whole process as well. Today's guest is an accountant, entrepreneur, a real estate mogul, a wizard of all things business related, and a community resource. At the helm of TP Taxes, he's helped literally thousands of people stay compliant with IRS regulations, improve fiscal responsibility, and maximize their yearly income tax refunds. Live from the headquarters, we at 5613 Walnut Street. Make sure y'all pull up. Make sure y'all bang the line. We're going to give y'all the phone number and all of that because this is the guy that's going to get y'all right, man. The CEO, Mr. Tom Pender, a.k.a. TP the Tax Man. We are here today.
Man. I'm even feeling important, man. I like that.
Tom's somebody I know for a very, very long time, going back to, when my cousin Mike was alive, Mike P, rest in peace. And Tom is somebody that I always would see just kind of breezing through, you know what I mean? And being from down the bottom, you either one of two people. You either are immersed in all of the bullshit that's going on, or you kind of just breeze by, know everybody, and you're doing your own thing.
Pretty much.
And you were somebody that was, perpetually doing your own thing. I know you played ball, was locked in on the schooling, and then now, you've built your own, empire of your own, man, a diverse portfolio. And like I said, being a community resource, you help people. And I think that's one of the most underrated parts, of your journey as far as what we're going to talk about today.
I mean, yeah, that's basically helping people is the #1 thing. That's what really got me into all of this. And the main thing, accounting just was a research that I found easy to do.
Right.
So I was just happy that I can diversify everything I had going on and teach other people what I be doing.
Yeah.
What I be learning from school or at my job or just with my travels and everything. Just helping people out.
Yeah, me, you, and Kay, we sat down a couple weeks ago, had dinner and stuff, talking about, something big that, we kind of all planning together. That's really, your brainchild, but you're identifying people's talents and bringing people in, on it and stuff like that. Which, we can or can't talk about depending on, what you want to get into today.
We talk about everything.
But, first and foremost, I definitely want to say thank you for joining us and, bringing us into your space. We had masters of real estate. We had business consultants on the show, attorneys. But we haven't had somebody that understands accounting principles, and business compliance, the way that you do. So, I want to do as best of a job to get as much information as we can out today. I already told you I definitely want you to come back, in like another month and a half, 2 months or whatever, just to talk more specific around business, taxes, and all of that stuff, because that's a whole different beast or whatever. But, starting off, being an accountant is, is so specific, it's math intensive, it's process intensive. What was your journey in becoming an accountant, and what even got you interested in it to begin with?
So the funny part is, accounting really wasn't my thing. So what happened was, I took an accounting class in high school, and I did really well in it. So since I played a sport, you go to college, you major in communications or sports management or something.
Yeah, arts and crafts.
Yeah. So me and my friends was all sitting around as we in orientation, and everybody saying what they majors is. I'm like, man, I don't want to be no dumb job. What's yours? Oh, accounting. Like, I mean, I got a good grade in high school. I just picked it. Man, I was tripping once I got in the class. But it worked out in my favor. Like, as I worked in the class, I started to learn. I knew I liked business. So when you're doing accounting, you get to learn the business from every angle because you get to pull it apart. So you can see the operations, you can see the numbers, you can see how it's growing or where the pitfalls is. And all those things, I started to be able to read the numbers, which dictates on how I plan. Then you realize life is just one big number. Yeah. And then I started seeing numbers as I'm going through different transactions or even investments or just riding down the street looking at properties, like, because I do real estate. So even just everything, I realized all came from a number. So that's what really made me dig deep into accounting.
Yeah. Now, you said you took an accounting class in high school.
Yeah.
What high school did you go to?
West Catholic.
I thought this had to be.
Yeah, they cared about y'all in high school.
No, it was definitely an accident. Yeah. It was just like, West Catholic does give you good education, but I think I registered so late, and that was the class that was available. And I like math, so I was like, all right, let me just try it.
Okay.
And it worked in my favor.
And you played ball at West Catholic?
Yeah.
What year was you at West Catholic?
2000.
You graduated in 2000? Mm-hmm. Okay. You was like right before Wick then. Shout out Wick.
Yeah. No. Wick was a freshman.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We the same age. That's what I'm saying. Shout out Wick. It's my friend.
Yeah, he was a freshman when I was a senior.
Yeah, he's a burr. Yeah. No, that's what's up. And you went to college at?
Albernia.
Okay, cool. Now, with it being math intensive, what is the math like to become an accountant?
It's not math intensive as everybody thinks. You just need to understand math for the most part. It's most of just logic and practice. So anybody can be an accountant. I actually just to do like AR, AP, and things, but you just got to understand the concept of accounting. Right. What makes the difference in it? Okay. It's not really a numbers thing. So it is a number. Like if something's wrong and the number, so we got to tie out. So if your numbers don't tie out, then yeah, you got to figure out why it don't tie out. Okay. So you're backing the number out, but that's more of a logic thing too. It's not like you sitting and just adding a bunch of numbers up all the time. People are doing all that for you.
Yeah, very true.
So what's the most important part or principle of the whole accounting sphere, like on a low level, before we even get to the intensive, the executive level, like accounting and all of that shit, the level that you're on, like on a bare minimum, what do people need to understand before even getting into anything accounting related?
Debits and credits. So that's where everybody gets jammed, and you learn that just in your bank account. So a debit and credit is when you're paying money going in and out of your bank account. So they teach you a T scale when you're doing accounting. So you got a debit one side, you have to credit on the other side so they can balance out on each side. So let's say you got $100 in your bank account, you paid $100 out to pay your phone bill. So you would debit the telephone bill and you would credit your bank account. Right. The credit is showing the money coming out of your bank account. The debit is showing the expense in the phone bill account. So it's like keeping track of all your expenses.
Yeah, I'm already. All right. Because what I do is I just normally wait till Monday and then like, yo, what's the day?
What's left?
I let them tell me what's left. yeah, exactly. But it happens on the weekend. You start spending money Saturday, Sunday, and you like, oh no, I'm good. That's Monday afternoon. You like,
I ain't spend all that. I ain't spend all that. That wasn't me. I called the bank now.
Straight up.
Yeah, that shit just happened to me the other day because I'm operating. I shouldn't be doing this dumb shit. I'm operating out of like 4 different bank accounts. I'm paying this with this, and I'm trying to hold myself accountable by doing that, and I ended up jamming myself up because I'm moving money around, and they was like, yeah, your account is overdrawn. I'm like, it can't be. I just put $4 grand in here, and they're like, no, nigga, your shit was overdrawn for one whole day.
I'm glad we're here. Low key, I need an accountant. I swear. You know what my new shit is? I done got cool with the phone, with the Apple Pay shit, so I be keeping money in my Apple wallet, and I'm like, yo, I got so everywhere I'm at, boom, just tap my phone, tap my phone. I went to tap one day, it was like insufficient. I said, impossible. $1,600.
It's just too much access to your funds.
Dumb shit, like straight up. Like
technology has made us all very loose.
Very loose. And you remember like checkbooks, like balancing a checkbook.
Listen, I remember I went to Andrew Hamilton Middle School, 3 blocks from here, and we opened up. They might have been Beneficial or BFSS, whatever the banks,
Melon,
shit like that. And we gave us our little checkbooks or whatever. Everybody put $20 in that joint, and it's like you got to keep track of your stuff, and you write a check, you got to debit and credit that out or whatever, and that shit is just gone because everything's digital now.
Yeah. You at lunch trying to buy you check for cookies. I want a pizza price. I'm 75 cents. I'm writing a check at lunch.
And then the money's just going faster now.
Yeah, the money moves so fast now. So fast. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
I try to get most people, like when you're trying to budget, to function in cash. So if you're not really using your card, you know when your money's depleting. It'll make you less likely to spend it.
Are you a fan of credit?
Yes,
Okay.
I love credit.
Yeah.
I love credit.
Yeah, it's
dangerous.
It's a slippery slope.
Yeah, it's very dangerous.
Very slippery.
Very dangerous.
Because the thing with credit is, and you know, we got like a whole credit series we did on Patreon, and we talked about a lot of our credit things, us blowing up our credit scores, getting approved for all this crazy shit. It's like you go to apply for a credit card, $2,000 limit. You know, you normal. You go to get another credit card, $3,200 limit. When you go get that, you know,
Yeah.
29,000. You like, shit. All right, we need a refrigerator. You don't even need this shit.
Viking stove.
Viking stove. You don't be cooking. I need a wolf. Straight
You
up.
live in an apartment. Oh, I can't change the appliances?
I can't change the appliances in here. Yeah.
You do start noticing things that you really don't need that you need now all of a sudden. It's because you got access.
Yeah.
Access is a terrible thing when you don't know what you're doing with it.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. What's your biggest? At being an accountant, what is the biggest problem you see from people when trying to budget?
So, I'm gonna say honestly, a lot of accountants be in bad credit and
A lot of what?
A lot of accountants struggle with credit and
Okay.
budgeting as well. It's just they understand the analogy of tracking when they're doing it. So, I would say like most in general in the field, you will say like most accountants don't do tax. So first, let's like break down accounting. Right, accounting is no different than like lawyers and doctors in that field. So there's multiple different types of accountants.
Specialties.
Right.
Within the field.
So you got people that do AP, you got people who do AR, like they're just paying bills and collecting money. You got people that do monthly closings, just doing journal entries. You got people that's just doing reviews. You got the CFOs doing the financials. You got people that's just doing audits. There's so many variables in accounting, tax. So when you're even dealing with accounting, you got to make sure you're dealing with the correct accountant that's doing the field. Like you're not going to go to a defense attorney and you're going to do a divorce.
Right.
So, and that's our biggest problem. Like we were like, oh yeah, like my aunt do this, and really she just do data entry to IRS.
Right.
And you think she about to save your life, and you never realize like that's the big problem. We've always just been taught the wrong thing all our lives, even as adults.
My man work at the IRS. He in HR.
Right.
Well, he in the building.
I'm just saying, he got a pass. Yeah, that's hilarious. Yeah, good.
What was I going to ask you? So you kind of broke down all the different types of accounting services they provide, stuff like that. What are the biggest mistakes people make when it comes to like their personal finances and then their taxes? Because I think people lump everything into one, and they aren't necessarily the same thing. Like Lil Baby just did an interview with Lil Yachty that's blew the fuck up because in it he's talking about personal finance, responsibility, taxes, like shit like that, like having a separate account to put my tax money aside and shit like that. What are most people that, because you got two different scenarios. So say somebody that's working like a W-2, W-4 job or whatever, and then somebody that's a 1099. What do you see client-wise in terms of like financial habits that can jam people up in either scenario?
So they're definitely two totally different worlds.
Yeah.
So 10-9 people think they're rich. They're more along the line with like Lil Baby and NBA players and things
Right.
like that. Because they're seeing all of their money at one time.
Right.
So if you're getting $1,000 check, that's everything, no taxes, nothing taken out.
Right.
You think that $1,000 is yours.
Right.
So if you're getting it weekly, that's $52,000 a year. You actually never paid your taxes on that $52,000. So come time when you got to pay your taxes, you do get to write off your expenses against it. But now whatever that balance is or whatever you net, you owe the difference onto it. Whereas in the W-2, it's already taken care of for you up front. Now that doesn't mean that the W-2 is better than the 1099. 1099 is always be better. If you make $52,000 as a W-2, you pay tax on $52,000. You make $52,000 as a 1099, you get to deduct all of your expenses first, and then you pay tax on the net. The net could be $25,000. Then you're only paying tax on $25,000 versus the full $50,000. But you gotta be able to budget and manage the money. That's the part where everybody get jammed up that you hear all of the rich people talking about.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, I'm in tax debt because I never paid the bill. Like, why would you not think you had to pay taxes ever before?
That's what happened with Wesley Snipes. Like,
Yeah.
He just got to a point where it was like, oh, it's been 28 years. They ain't worried about this tax money. No, they are, bro.
Yeah.
Like
They just let you keep going.
They just let you keep going and just accruing a bill.
Yeah, the number get larger for them. They're like, oh, we're just gonna add some interest on it. Then when the number hit a certain space, they come looking for you. They're gonna get their money.
At what financial threshold is like a tax balance criminal?
It's not even like a financial threshold. They just come looking for you after a while once they catch up to it.
So it's a pattern of behavior that
Correct.
they look for more than
So they normally check back 3 years, and then if it's consistent, they'll go farther back than 3 years.
Got it.
But if you never filed your tax return for the 3 years, they don't come looking for you because one, if you owe money, they're already adding interest on it. So they're smart for them to just let you go ahead and do whatever you want because they're making more money off you now.
Right.
And number two is if they owe you money, they got your money sitting somewhere that they're making money off of it instead of you having it. So it's not necessarily of a criminal thing because some people might don't get hit for 5 years. There's too many of us just catch up. That's why you always hear about the IRS hiring more people to try to keep up because it's impossible.
Yeah, they hired up big with Biden administration. That was the big thing. We hiring accountants. We hiring accountants. We hiring field reps. We hiring anything IRS related. We're hiring more of them to go out here and figure out who's doing what and who might owe us money.
Correct. Even Philadelphia is doing the same thing. They're just trying to get more money out of everybody because they know people just out here putting in the craziest things that they aren't doing some type of crazy stuff and putting businesses in their name or whatever the case may be. Like it comes back because it's linked to your social. So it's not like there's not ways to not pay tax. So there are a million ways where you can lower your. So let me say not pay tax. Everybody pays tax. But you don't have to pay at your rate though. So you can make $100,000 and pay taxes at the same amount as somebody making $40,000. It's just the paperwork got to match up right, so you don't have to pay all of that type of money. So there's loopholes in everything to pay less if you follow the rules. It's just most of us aren't following the rules or even care what the rules is. We walk in at tax time like, hey, do your thing, and then the bill is the bill by it.
Right. So when you have like, it's so confusing. It's like W-2, W-4 versus 1099. Which one would be, I guess, easier?
It's behavior. So if you have bad habits and you know you can't manage your money, then unless you got someone to help, you do not need to be a 1099. So you can go from say if you got a business and you making $100,000, but after you pay all your bills, you might make $20,000. That's fine. You don't even pay taxes on $20,000. And you got kids, you get a refund check.
Right.
But what happens is if that 100 go to $1 million out of nowhere, and you never got your accountant involved or anything like that, now you owe $400,000, $300,000.
Because you still got the same bad financial habits, even though you're making all this more money.
And you knew you had to pay taxes. You were like, oh, I owe money, I get no refund. What about my kids? Like, bro, that's $1 million. Like, it's not the same thing as you make more money. You got to change what's going on in your life.
Yeah, you're like, well, I bought the second lamb chop. I have to bought the second one.
That's 6,800 pounds. I know that's some super depreciation.
Yeah, and then we get bad information on social media, which makes it worse. Like, oh yeah, just buy a G-Wagon. Like what? Like
where did that start? I'm glad we
talk about the buy a G-Wagon shit.
Where did that start?
So it's a legit thing, right?
And what is it?
So you can write off a vehicle if it's in the business name. If it's over a certain weight, you can write off 100% of it in that year, which makes logical sense if you're rich. But if you're not rich, you just bought a G-Wagon, you just spent $200,000 into your business to take a loss to get a refund check. Like you really got in the business for a refund check. That's what
so if you're rich, you can buy a G-Wagon because it's 7,000 pounds. Is that the 7,000
6,500 pound threshold? Anything greater than that is
you can depreciate in one shot.
You got a case of tilapia in the back. Boom, we had 7,000. All right, cool. So you buy it and then you can write off 100% of it.
Correct. What you gonna do the next year though?
Right. That's what I swear to God that was gonna be your next question.
Being as though I worked in fleet leasing and all of that, every car has a depreciation schedule.
Correct.
So a Ford Fusion depreciates at a different rate than a G-Wagon. A cargo van depreciates at a different rate.
A 750 depreciates different than a Panamera.
They all have a depreciation schedule.
Right.
Based on your starting value, average depreciation across the product line for their cars and stuff, historical stuff, and then your residual value at the end of a certain amount of time with a certain amount of miles, based on typical driving practices, sets your depreciation schedule.
Yeah, because if Dan get a hold of this shit and go to New York 80 times,
it might be done a little earlier.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So in that scenario, right, I'm a business owner. I'm running TRPE media, digital business. We make $500,000 a year. Me and Matt both go get G-Wagons, $200,000 truck, whatever the case may be. In that scenario, where we really don't have a lot of overhead other than day-to-day expenses, marketing, materials, we might buy some new cameras, stuff like that. In that scenario, do we take the full super depreciation in year one, or do we smooth it out in order to give ourselves some room going forward.
So everything is situational. Like,
Okay,
there's no
gotcha.
one size fit all for anybody.
Got it.
And it could be another company that y'all identical and making the same amount of money, 2 people and everything, but y'all got 2 different visions, so y'all function differently.
Gotcha.
So, one, I never want to tell anybody to go buy a G-Wagon and take the full hit up front unless you're super rich. For a normal individual, that's just dumb. So, one of our slogans is bigger than a refund, because I'm trying to teach everyone that a refund is not that important. One, nobody should be getting a refund check. One, you're supposed to set your paperwork up so you're paying the right amount out of your paycheck.
Gotcha.
That way you're balancing out to 0 come year end. If you're getting a refund check, that means you paid too much in. Or you don't make enough, so that's why you're getting the money back, because you're on the threshold line where you can earn income credits.
So you're running at it. So based on accounting practices in the government standard, you're running at a deficit. So we owe you money back.
Correct. So there's a gap where you get earning income credits for kids.
Right.
Where if you're in that lower bracket, then you get the money back for the kids. Right. Understandable. Now, if you're making more money, then if you're getting a refund check, it's because you paid too much in. So I get a refund check. And normally that's because I get killed in my job's check, so that I try to cover myself in case I make too much, and then that's a little bit cut into the bill.
Okay.
But on the flip side is I'm investing into real estate. So real estate always covers me, so I always get some of the money back. But what if I run? Sometimes I don't get the money back because I made me more as I'm going through the years of what's going on.
Right.
So it helps me pay some of the bill that I already paid out of my job. It's not money I already had.
Oh.
So that's
You
a
should
tax
have been a
plan.
boxing promoter. you can talk, boy. Damn.
So
All right.
that's a tax plan. It's more of a tax strategy that I'm doing.
Yeah.
So what happened is, we're in your scenario of buying a G-Wagon, I got to ask you, as your accountant, what are you trying to accomplish? So if you're just trying to avoid tax.
Hose. Maximum amount of hose.
Now, if that's the case, the G-Wagon not going to cut it. We need more. So one thing you always want to know is you'll never get as much money you'll never save as much money as you can get from the bank. So the number one thing is you get the money from the bank based off your tax returns.
Right.
So you made $500,000. Y'all went and bought 2 G-Wagons at $200 a pop. You only netting at $100 now. The bank going to give you the loans minus your expenses, so you might only net at $20. Y'all like, oh, I ain't paying no taxes now. And y'all hype. Y'all getting all the hoes. Y'all moving around. Everything y'all happy. But you only netted at $20,000. You ain't paying no taxes.
Okay.
Now you go to the bank like, hey, I want to grow. And the bank going to tell you, get out.
You got this big ass fucking albatross
Yeah.
sitting on your credit.
And then you only made $20,000. So the bank is not going to give you no loans. How can you grow now? So sometimes paying taxes is beneficial.
Figure it out. Right.
Yeah, sometimes paying tax is beneficial for you. You don't want to overpay in tax. You want to pay at where you want to
just
be
the
at.
right amount.
Correct. You want to pay where you need to be at so that you can get to that next level. Like how you say all the investments I'm into.
Yeah.
I pick when I'm going to pay them or not.
Yeah.
So literally, I'm like, oh, I'm about to get into something new. These next 2 years, I'm going to pay them a bunch of money.
Right.
And then I pay them, I get into my investments. As soon as I'm done, the investments bring my income. My income might have went up.
Yeah.
My gross, but my bills ate all that up. So I get a new big asset or something to eat all the bills up.
Right.
And now my money dropped back down. So I'm not paying them that much for the next 2-3 years.
Right.
Then I know when the time is coming up and I need to go back to the bank, I got 2 years to get back in the flow. And as the money starts to show again, I got to pay a grip. And then I go back down and not paying anything.
You said something when we was at dinner that changed my fucking life, which was, and you probably didn't realize you said it because we was just in the flow of us just talking, and you was like, I have been preparing myself on paper the last 10 years for this move that I just made.
Correct.
And that having that 10-year vision of my end goal is some massive income earning business generating space or whatever that I own, not leasing from somebody, that I own top to bottom. That's mine. And how did you set that trajectory to know, like, I'm just going to practice these good financial habits to where when it's time to bust $1 million move, I can do it on my own with no help?
So a lot of it has to do with luck too and timing. So luck and timing. So one, I'm just always preparing for the luck and timing. So that's my number one thing. I never know what's going to happen. I just don't want to be in the room where I can't participate in what's happening. So I'm always doing what I have to do right and trying to maximize my situation to get me in the best next scenario that's coming up. So with the scenario you're talking about with the club is, I didn't know nothing about I didn't know I wanted a club. Like we talked about it because we wanted to drink.
Yeah.
So me and the guys just looking some way, we can drink free, we can eat free. It's a good thing. And in doing so, you need to know you get the money from the bank. The opportunity popped up, and since I was always setting my books up to where I can get a loan from the bank, maybe my income might don't match, but at the same time, I'm building my real estate portfolio.
Right.
So the two combined, and since I'm not out buying G-Wagons and I drive behind the Civic and the Escalade, my old Escalade, like I don't do all the extra stuff. I do waste money at time to time. I'm not gonna act like I don't.
But in general, you don't do the jiggy nigger shit.
Yeah, most of the time I'm stacking or I'm investing everything I got, preparing for that next moment. So when that big moment of the club came up, then boom, I was set. I just had to find the person who's going to give me the loan. So, and what really triggered that was, I work for a CPA firm during the daytime. They outsource me as a CFO. So all these companies are doing all their books and everything. Okay. So being around all of these rich people, I get an idea of they're letting me know, like they're just stacking all the time, preparing. So I'm like, oh, I've been on the right track. Everybody thought I was crazy.
Right.
So they gave me reassurance. And then when that time came, they put me with a banker. One of the clients put me with a banker. And he connected me to get me the loan since all my paperwork tied out. And then I had enough real estate on the books as well to guarantee, which then gave me the loan to close the club off. Right. So let's say we probably be in like 1.5 million once the club's done. Once we get everything up and running, but we estimate we can do like 40 million a year once we get fully operational.
Working as working as an accountant, they're leasing you out as a CFO to all these companies, and then they reassured you based on that your financial plan was the right one. Right.
So with seeing everything they're doing and seeing the scale that they're at, it made me understand that I'm on a much smaller scale than them, but I'm on the right track to get where I want. And I'm doing it at a younger age than most of them as well too.
Right.
So I get to see all the mistakes that they're making and the things that they're doing and everything. And I'm just coming home to my friends like, hey, we got to do this. This is how we got to be working out. Yeah. Some listen, some don't. But then as you start to work everything out and the numbers start to job and match up, then you turn over to the bank. That's why I said a refund check is not always the goal.
Right.
So there's no way I'm going to get a refund check for $10,000, which that's a great number. So, and some of my refund checks, I don't have any kids, and sometimes I get a check for $10,000 from the IRS as a refund check.
Yeah.
That's a good time then. But if I got a $10,000 refund check to the bank is not going to give me $1.5 million to pull off whatever I want. Right. I might can get $30,000. What I'm going to do with that? It's a waste of my time. Yeah. So that's why I make this saying of you'll never save as much as the bank can give you.
Let me ask you this. You just said, and I'm glad you brought it back up because I was going to go into that. You said that you shouldn't want a refund.
Correct.
Right? So how did the refund become a holiday?
Because everybody just want money. They don't even care how it's coming or how it affects you. Think about it. You go to college, they be like, you get your credit card. Yeah. And then you just run your credit card out. You don't care about the consequences later.
And they give you a refund check too.
Exactly.
that happens not in college. Okay.
So it ends up backfiring you. And even just think about we all grew up in the hoods.
Yeah.
So our education is just off, and that was part of the big reason where I got into tax, just to get the educational side. So let's say in 2000, y'all heard of Prism Career?
Say it again.
You get Prism Career School?
Yeah.
All right, so I used to be an adjunct professor there.
Okay.
I was teaching all the business classes, the accounting courses, computer courses, and things like that. So I was only 28, 27 when I started that job, and they brought me in because they wanted some real field experience accountants to teach. When I got in there, I started to notice that they weren't teaching the kids the correct stuff.
Right.
Like the little adjustments that happen in the field,
you
don't learn it all because I would put in the test. I failed my whole class the first time. And once they found out I was correct, it gave me the reassurance. Like, we really don't know as black people what really be happening. So I started working at H&R Block just on the side, and it just seemed like a bigger gap. That the education was just off.
Because when tax time comes around, I'm glad we're doing the show because it's here. Like, these places, they're like, yo, we'll give you a check today. You know what I mean?
We'll advance you against what we think you're going to get.
Yeah, you got 6,800 coming. We'll give you 54 right now, but sign off the 68. And I remember, I'll never forget. I remember hearing a guy on my block back in the day because they were talking about income tax return. He was just like, man, that's the greatest time of the year. And I'm like, nothing else? Nothing else?
The birth of your child.
I mean, think about how much money people are seeing at one shot.
He said, yo, income tax check hit. He said, I feel like the immigrants when they got to Ellis Island. I was like, wow, freedom.
I'm financially free for 42 days.
Think about what you just said, though, right? They're offering you got a $6,800 refund check. They offer you an advance right now for $54. That's a terrible deal.
That's a terrible deal.
Terrible deal. You couldn't wait a month.
But I owe 8 people $1,700. I'm trying to figure this shit out.
Yeah, it's a terrible deal.
Yeah.
So saying those things, we try to steer people away from those things. So we're trying to better educate them. Yeah, we want you to get a refund check if you owe the money. We want to max the number out. But we want to put you in the best scenario, not just give you money and send you on your way.
Now, when you're saying you should basically want to be even, not paying too much and not getting nothing back. Does that go into how your what do they call them on
W-4s?
Your W-4 with the number of not deductions. What's the
It is the deductions and dependents.
Oh, dependents. There you go. So how do people go about setting that up the right way so that they're on that proper track?
So you're supposed to base it off whatever your scenario is. So if you got kids, you put how many kids you got on there. If you had a household, you put you had a household. So, and there's also situations. So I put single zero. I want them to kill me in taxes. So they are taking too much out for me. But that's because I have so much going on outside of work.
You need that to balance it out.
Yeah. So it makes my bill less when they send me the bill. But I know what the bill is because I'm keeping track of all my paperwork throughout all year.
So basically, like you said, it's not a one size fits all. Everybody's situation is just totally different.
Correct.
How do people go about figuring that out, though?
Sit with an accountant, a real accountant that actually does that.
I like the way you did this. See, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. I mean, because you think, say if your accountant does payroll at work, but he's telling you what to do with your taxes. Now, how could you possibly think that you're going to get much farther than what they know, which is not much?
Yeah.
Like you're not going to go as the person at Rite Aid what the doctor is supposed to prescribe you, is you?
Very true. True. Okay, I got another scenario. I'm glad we're doing this. Have you dealt with gamblers?
Yes.
Okay. I always wanted to know this. Because as a gambler hanging out in the casino, you watch people walk around and pick up losing slips.
Correct.
Does that work?
Yes.
That does work.
Yes.
Swear to God, we had this big ass argument about this one night at a poker table, and it was like, that shit don't work. That shit, I'm like, why would people be doing it?
Right.
So that is a real thing.
Yeah, so you can write off.
You know about this?
I've heard this.
Okay.
You can write off 100% of what your losses are against your winnings.
Right.
So it's not like it's a direct hit, but it's a credit that applies to it. So if you won $100,000, but you lost $100,000, if you lost $200,000, you want to get a write off 100. You want to get a write off what you actually won. So if you won 100,000, but you lost 200, you only can write off 100.
Right.
But some people create it, like who are professionals, they turn it into a company now. So then if you lose 200, you get to write off the full 200.
Oh, because you're losing it under
a business now.
You're professional loser.
Asset Parlays LLC.
Damn, I stink incorporated.
Right.
I am trash.
So you just got to figure out how to make it work in your scenario.
You 7 diamond, you're a loser.
Yeah.
See,
Yo, listen.
That's why y'all even gambling wrong. Y'all losing money wrong.
When I was really running around playing poker, doing all that stuff, I was like diamond, all that bullshit. And my homie was like, "Damn, you diamond Harris?" And I'm like, you know how much nights I had to cry in the car.
That's
I don't know how many spam
Punching that
That's why they give you the free hotel room.
right. They only give you a limousine when you sing. You think they give you a limousine to come down here and rake them over the cold?
They definitely do.
Yeah, that's
trash
funny.
ass nigga stretch Escalade.
Get that trash nigga down crying. Get it down there.
Yeah, that's bad. That's bad
In front of your crib.
I remember one of the old heads, he was vicious. What's the joke to spin? Roulette. He was vicious roulette motherfucker. He'll win a poker tournament, go up there, lose 30 grand, go up there, lose on a roulette table and shit. And he told us, was like, yeah, man, me and my wife's anniversary coming up. Harris is giving us a week all inclusive in Lake Tahoe. Ross was like, damn, you lost the mortgage money.
You might have to move it.
That's exactly what happened.
That is hilarious. So you've had people show up with bags of slips and shit
I
like
had them, but I sent them home. I'm not adding that. You gotta add it up yourself. Bring me the total and then I'll fix it once you're done. No way I'm playing that game.
That is hilarious. I just always want to know if that actually does work. That is funny as shit.
It's definitely.
That's excellent.
It's smart to keep. You should be keeping receipts of anything you actually.
Oh yeah,
do.
real people. I know players. They got the apps now, so they keep track of everything. I was telling you, it's so detailed now. They keep track of how much they tip the valet, tip the waiter. It's like a real thing. Like you said, being an accountant, like having everything down to the dollar. I've had people explain like beating the rake and just certain shit where it comes to not even taking the free stuff that they give you in the casino because you're gonna have to go and tip when you go to the restaurant. Right. And it's crazy. It's super dialed in on that level. But I just always wonder from people who I see walk around, oh shit, Smokey the Bandit lost. I'm gonna take that little toy. They walk around the horse John, all that shit, picking up slips. I just always want to know if that shit actually like yielded anything.
Yeah, you're trying to keep as many receipts as you can, so year in you can just add 30. Here, you give it to your accountant and you figure it out.
Yeah.
Or you just add them all up. You're like, here, this is my total. It's no different. So think about it. When we went to dinner, I'm like, let me get that bill.
Right. All right, then.
Yeah, it's because I'm gonna put that whole bill on my taxes. I mean, it was a work related bill.
Right.
So that was me, and I want to write it off.
As an accountant, is there any part of it that like annoys? Like how you said, I'm not adding that. You do that yourself. Is there any part of it that you just like? I don't want no parts of. Like, does that come across your desk at all?
Yeah, everything. I mean, me particular, I turn off any extra work. Like, if I'm not physically doing your bookkeeping, I'm not doing your bookkeeping.
Okay.
So I tell you to come prepared already. Like I'm posting right now, all the time, reminding everybody, like, hey, get your books together. Because if you come here and your book's not ready, I'm gonna just send you back home. I'm gonna leave all your paperwork here that you got to complete, and then you gotta go back home and finish those books. Because we base our rates to make it affordable to make everyone have access to having an accountant. So you can get a tax return here done, a basic tax return here done for $75.
Okay.
So there's no way I can sit with you for 3 hours for a $75 return.
Right.
But I can, while I'm
38 minutes.
Yeah, while I'm working, I can answer all your questions and we can talk through it and everything like that. But you can get what you need to get so you can move forward. And I can give you some advice to move forward. And you can go out your day versus you somewhere paying $400 and you don't learn anything.
Right.
But at the same time, you have to be prepared when you come. So if you have a business, you know you need books in order to get your taxes done. You can't walk in here like you said, I got all these receipts. I can't sit with you to these receipts.
Right.
Either you need to pay for bookkeeping or you need to go home and add them all up. At least give us a starting point.
Do you get that? Like people who come in with businesses that
Most
are just
people.
Really?
Most people.
Wow.
Most people don't.
Did you get any of the drug dealing or the scamming taxes yet?
Nah.
Dan over there.
It's like,
They didn't even
for
try it.
example,
Hear me out now. Hypothetically.
They didn't even try us.
I see they saying like if you steal now, you gotta report your.
So even when you sell drugs, you're supposed to report the drugs.
Yeah.
Like even if you think about back in the day, like all those big kingpins and all that, they didn't go to drugs, they go to jail for murder or drugs.
tax
They went to tax evasion.
Yeah, no, they took my house.
Yeah.
It's just so funny how people as humans can't not make it personal. You ask about businesses and your dinner. I'm like, as a gambler, and then they're like, let's say you're scamming. How we go about taxes and
So
people can't help but bring their own shit to it. That is hilarious. And said, everybody get their taxes in order. Let me figure this shit out for myself. Oh my God.
because I scammed 200, but I had 80 in scam equipment. I had to prep for the scamming. So how much of that?
crazy thing, you're supposed to report it though. At the end of the day, you're supposed to report it.
I remember seeing a thing like that. Like if you, no matter what, even if it's illegal, it should be
You're
reported.
still supposed to report it.
Yeah, that is fucking
It
hilarious.
don't matter what you're moving. If you're making money, you're supposed to report it. That's just the bottom line, and that's how people get hit with the tax evasion portion. You might only get caught for doing it, but you definitely can get caught on the tax evasion side. You get to that level where they catch you.
You might get Dan as a client. Who knows? That is fucking great.
I'm 14 years back. What can we do?
When the last time you filed taxes? Like living single just came up on television.
That's why they took my credit, right?
New York Undercover was the number1 show on Wednesdays.
Now that happens a lot where people just go a long time and not file taxes at all.
He was 98.
And would be crazy. Like I'd be confused.
I didn't file for a couple of years just because I was worried about beating something. You know what I'm saying? And I wound up doing it and it got all rectified. What's the longest you can go without?
3, and they take your money. They can take your money after 3 years. If you get a refund check, they can take your money after 3 years.
But have you seen people get past it and not go through anything?
Yes, I mean there's always lucky people that can get through.
I went 98 to
Did you get all your money back? Is the question.
2011 before I did my first tax.
But did you get all your money back?
The first year.
Yeah, so you only got your money back for 1 year. You ain't get the money back from all them other years. They kept it. That's the point.
Yeah.
They keep your money after. They can keep your money after 3 years.
And you can't do nothing about
Nothing.
it. Damn. And then you got scammed.
What happens is they
scam.
also can do your taxes for you, which could make you owe money after 3 years.
Yeah.
So think about it. If you got kids that normally go on your paperwork, which means you get the refund check, but they did them because you waited too long. Not adding the kids there can make you owe you money now. Now you owe them money because they filed it and you took too long to get it done.
Damn.
Too long.
It's so much that goes on in that.
You're just better off following on time. That's what I just tell everybody.
Whether you owe or not.
Yeah, you better off following on time and just getting it right. So that, and you should be preparing that you know what the situation is, so that you don't be owing a bunch of money.
Let me ask you this: as somebody who 1099 or running a business, whatever, do you recommend paying taxes quarterly?
It depends on how long.
Because that's like a new thing now. You keep hearing.
So that's not new.
Well, I mean, just in the internet world,
As you
like,
make it more, so everything they show you on the internet is false. It's not false in the sense like it's not new.
Give me a ratio of how much of it is total bullshit.
Most of it.
So 80%.
Yeah, easily.
the G-Wagon is.
Yeah, so but even think about people, they just talk about like, oh, if you have a party, you get to write your party off. I mean, clearly, if you have anything business related, you can write it off.
Right.
So, but people are excited, like, oh my God, I can have a party. Like, it's part of the business. They didn't tell you anything at all. Like, oh yeah, I can write off a business lunch. Oh, I can write off my car because it's part of the company. Like, bro, it's part of the business.
Yeah.
You know that. They didn't teach you anything.
Right.
But we're actually paying for that type of information to these people. That means they're not telling you anything. They're just taking your money now. That's another bad deal that you're doing, giving up cash for those situations.
So what? I'm sorry, you were about to say as far as the paying quarterly. Would you recommend that or yearly or how?
That's situational. If you're in a business or a 1099, and I switch most people out to a corp so that they can get on payroll. So then you're on payroll, we might pay most of the taxes through your payroll every 2 weeks. But if you're making a massive amount of money, you're going to end up owing money every year. So it's a behavioral thing, right? So some clients, say if you owe $200,000 at the end of the year, and I know you're going to owe the $200,000, I'll let you know up front. Like, hey, this is going to be your bill. It's going to be pushing like $150,000, $200,000. And they're like, damn, I want to pay all that money. I'm like, well, look, that's the number because you made a lot more money.
Right.
There's no way you're going to get around the money.
Yeah.
Now, if you want to show less, and you're trying to grow, that means you're going to be wasting more money, but then you can't grow. But most of my clients, I'll force them, and I'm telling them, like, hey, we always want to grow.
Yeah, like just take the financial hit, pay the money out so that you can grow.
Right. So now, what'll happen is, the 200 though, I'll tell them take that 200 and sit it somewhere in the bank account for a high yield investment or in the stock market or something. So where you make the money off the 200,000. Say if you put the $200,000 in a high yield bank account and you make $12,000 on it. Then you get an IRS $2,000 and you put the $12,000 in your pocket. You didn't do anything.
Right.
The money was just sitting somewhere making money for you at that given time.
If you got the money.
If you got the money.
Because business owners that
Well, we're doing your books. We tell you up front to start saving the money. Now, you don't listen.
That's on
and
you.
save the money. I can't do nothing about that because I literally told you like, hey, we gonna owe 200, and you done spent the money on yourself doing the random things.
Right.
That's nothing I can do about that because I'm literally telling you owe the money.
What you just introduced is a high level concept that I've talked to these guys about a million times, which every company is playing the float, get interest or whatever off of your money game. Insurance companies, technology companies, they're all doing
these pensions.
all of these pensions and shit like that. Like, so that's smart of you as an accountant to advise your client, play the same game that everybody else is playing so that you can make money off of your money before you got to pay your money out.
Correct. So even like most people, we're taught to file taxes at the end of tax season because you're going to owe, which is a terrible idea. So say if you file your taxes in April and you owe $10,000 and you don't got the $10,000 to pay by April 15th. Or your taxes is filed, but you don't got the money and you paying over time. Now you got to pay all the penalties and interest because you didn't pay it on April 15th. But if you know you owe money, you should file it in January. Then it tells you how much you owe. You got till April 15th to pay the bill.
That's the money.
So why would you wait?
Wait till yo? It happened to me one year.
Yeah, why would you wait till the last minute to figure out how much you owe when you can find out up front and still don't have to pay it until the due date?
Like to your point, I remember one of them years I filed my taxes on like the 13th, April 13th, and I wound up like at the end of everything I owed like $200 some for the year.
Now it's $400.
But it was and it's crazy because it was like pay now like today, 226.
Yeah, we got a link right here. You're a link.
Right, today, and it was literally like pay after the 15th was like $382. Let me borrow $30. Take it higher. Like God damn,
it jumps quickly.
Yeah,
interest rates and penalties are outlandish. So I try to tell everybody to figure that number out, get it done early. That way we got enough time to try to pay. Even if you don't have it all in this 10,000, you might got 8 out of it.
One of my homies, I remember telling this on the show. He was said that he wound up getting audited and he owed some money to IRS or whatever, and he got on a payment plan. And he was paying a payment plan, and He said he paid the payment plan every month for like 3 years, and he was like randomly he hit him up like to see where the balance was.
Number
He was
ain't
like,
go down.
The balance started at like 19.6, so he's like, I hit him like, we gotta be around 14. Said balance 19.6. He said impossible.
It's the interest rate.
And literally he wound up telling because they had a couple properties. He refied one of the cribs and just paid it straight out. He said the lady from the IRS told him was like, you was gonna pay that for the rest of your life because the interest compounds daily.
Yeah, I owe $3,700 for the last 2 years. It's still $3,776.
No.
But it's also because you take the cheapest
Yeah,
payment
right.
plan too.
$12 a
Like, oh yeah, put me on $100.
How we looking like? Huh?
It's the same.
I know I put it didn't I?
You owe more.
You actually do owe more.
You don't want for kid on that.
We're gonna take the money.
Yeah, they'll wait. They'll take the entire life.
You like jackass.
You make your own drink. I was paying $350 at first. And I
Oh,
worked it down from 10 grand. I get down to like 3,500. I'm like, all right, let me see if I can rework this joint. It's like $50. They denied me on the 50. They accepted the bean. I've been paying that for 2 years. I'm still at 37.
no.
Yeah.
He said the lady
It's
told him
terrible
like
idea.
the interest compounds daily. I was like, damn.
Daily compound interest is like that's a gut punch.
Yeah.
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 So
Wait.
you better off just paying your debt. Get it out the way.
Yeah, crazy. Good Lord. Man, that's nuts. So, are people still banging these big tax returns?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I feel like that like almost like went away. 'Cause I remember years ago it was like, 6,000, 7, like 8. It was nuts.
Shit, my man Zeke when he was alive, he worked for SEPTA Regional Rail. He was an electrical engineer. He would make anywhere between like 105 to 125 a year, depending on how much overtime and all of that he put in. This motherfucker was getting $16,000, $18,000, $20,000 in expenses and shit like that. They were literally, he was writing off everything. Anything worked, they were writing everything off against this shit.
So back in the day, you were allowed to write off work expenses. They stopped it.
Yeah.
That's gone. So you're
Right.
not going to do that because they know a lot of people was putting in a bunch of bullshit in there to make that number up.
Spent
So
$600 this year on gloves.
Yeah, just gloves.
Like he was writing
gloves.
home office equipment. I'm doing consulting out the
Right.
crib, like all kinds of shit.
Right. Yeah.
And I was like, bro, you're going to jail. Like I don't know if you know, you're going to jail. And he was good. He just that shit went on and on.
So some people be alright, but you got because there's so many people. But you don't want to be that one
You don't
person.
want to be the one.
And you don't have to do all of that.
This wasn't me, my scenario. Let's say his name is Cat Main. You know what I'm saying? Like, not Matt Cain, Cat Main. But he, it was a lady that was doing people taxes for the job that he worked at. And you know because you do taxes. You're supposed to sign that the second page is supposed to be who do the taxes.
And they say self-prepared.
Right. And Cat Main didn't understand what was going on because it was just like, this lady do taxes, she can get you a bunch of money. Yeah. So I went one year, he went one year, and
Stay focused.
Stay focused, bro. And the tax return was like ridiculous. Like, like to the point where he was kind of like, the fuck? And then he started learning about taxes and what happens, and it's like, why do she make you sign that second page?
Because she wants you to get in trouble by yourself.
See what I'm saying?
You're indemnified. She's indemnified now. Like now it's your responsibility rather than
unless all of you got caught. So let's say 100 y'all got caught, all 100 you got to come together. And like she did it, that's the only way she get in trouble.
Right.
Otherwise, y'all on your own by yourself.
And the crazy part is, people wound up going through audits and all this different stuff. And I just was like, all right, this is.
It says here you're running a bicycle spoke manufacturer out of the garage
and
in your
you
house.
don't realize, like, when you're doing taxes, you can get crazy on them jobs. Crazy. Yeah. I saw a return where it was like, it was a $2,500 credit for like solar panels. On a crib, putting in solar panels, and it's just like, that's kind of crazy when you live in Corman Suites. You know what I'm saying?
And to get that credit is like $100,000 that you gotta spend.
It's nuts. You know what I'm saying? But it just seemed like for that little time period, people were running off and getting these $9,000, $10,000, and I don't really hear that no more. So I didn't know if that was like still a thing.
So it is. It's definitely still a thing, and people are still doing it, and I don't know why. Because at some point it comes back around, and then your life jammed up forever dealing with that problem. Like who wouldn't even want that type of headache just for an extra couple bucks when you can actually do it correctly and get the money out? Like the system's set up for you to get money out of it.
Right.
But we just do everything
if
wrong.
If the IRS owe you money, they're going to pay you your money.
But you get more out of it.
Yeah,
though.
you can just file properly, and you can, like I said, you can get more. Like I remember probably like 2009 or 10, my homegirl, they had this first time home buyer credit. It was like 12.5 or whatever, and people, oh yeah, we doing the taxes, blah blah blah. And keep in mind, this is even before social media blew up. So this is all some word of mouth shit. Oh, we know somebody that's doing the first time home buyer, get you $15,000 on your taxes. They want $5 or whatever.
What's that? Pull a tab off the telephone pole.
So they go through, do they taxes, whatever. Sure enough, that money hits your motherfucking account. And this is when, I guess, when the IRS first started, you could split where your Jones go. You didn't even have to meet up with the person and pay them. They just split the Jones, take it right out of your refund, boom, and go where it go. She might have got, I want to say, 10, 11,000 all said and done after that $15,000 return. They audited her 2 years later. Well, they did a review. She didn't really get audited, but they did a review, determined you didn't buy a motherfucking house. Where's the house?
Yep.
You didn't buy the motherfucking house. She paid that money back for 14 years.
By herself.
By herself.
Even the money the girl got.
The girl is gone. She in the wind. She, stripping whatever the fuck she doing. Because there's always somebody that has no business doing your taxes that's doing this shit. And she paid that money back in literally probably 2020. She just paid back the final shred of that money where they was like, technically, you owe us another $1,800, but it's too old to collect now. So sign this form and send it back, and we'll write the remaining amount.
Do she own a home yet?
No.
Jesus Christ. She could have bought a home.
She could have bought a home with all of the bullshit she went.
See, that's the problem. You might just do it right the first time and learn what you're doing. Like I even bought properties with my refund checks. Like literally, clearly, if you know how much so let's say I've had clients who their income where they got kids, they can get those large refund checks. So I had clients that I literally told them like, hey, just be poor for the next 3 years. So you done got a refund check for 3 years straight for $6,000 to $9,000. Give me your down payment. Go through a low income program. Then the low income program paid for their house. They had at least 20 bands sitting in the bank account just to go furnish their house now. And with money left over. So everything going through the system, it works. You just got to work the system the correct way than what we're taught to do.
I think that's the biggest problem, especially with our community, is there is no preparation. There is no planning. We kind of just go with the flow with just about everything. So even you saying how you basically over the last 10 years were setting up your big play. That's hard when people ain't figuring out, they don't have the next 10 weeks.
What's the problem? It's not hard when I'm sitting right here and I'm telling you what to do.
No,
Believe me. And they're like, oh, Tom, I'm crazy. I'm going down that street.
But Tom.
What's that lady name you said you go to?
No, right.
But Tom, Tulum.
Not me.
Not you.
Lit.
Man.
Yeah.
But we can wait 3 years and have even more fun.
You were doing taxes and accounting during the pandemic. You saw the influx of money and that, you know what I mean? So
it was crazy.
What was that like as an accountant and taxman?
Everybody was rich. Everybody was rich. Everybody was rich because they were doing all that scamming and everything that was going on. Then they realized they'd come to me the following year and they were like, hey, I got this extra bill. I'm like, well, you're going to owe money for that money you got for the pandemic. And I'm like, yo, you owe $15,000. Oh, wow. I'm like, well, right here it says you got like 80 grand in income plus the job you had on top of that. So you got 80 grand in free cash because you did something else, let somebody play with your social, and it came back to you. Then you already made, let's say, 50, 60 grand
at work.
Then boom, you owe $15,000 because you never paid the taxes and you gave half that money to somebody else.
Yeah, I was shooting dice. 29th Jerome, baby. That shit was going down.
Yeah, it just never works out in your favor for most people, and they can't figure out how they can get ahead because you just make these poor decisions. But again, that's what we are trying to stop here. We're literally telling you, hey, there's 6 accountants in here, and we're literally telling you, like, hey, don't do that. This is exactly what you're supposed to be doing. It might don't be as fast as you want it to be, but nothing's fast. Like, if it was fast, we'd all be rich.
Yeah.
Everybody has done something with going to these random people. Like, even when I was a kid, I did it before, too. And so...
So, come on, we need this.
So, when I came fresh out of college, we was letting some other accountant do our taxes. And me and all my homies, it was like, my homie put me on, my best friend put me on to it. So I'm getting refund checks for like 6, 7 bands, and I'm 21. So I'm like, oh man, we up. Then like 4 years went by. My girl at the time was just like, yo, like, why come you paying this guy $1,000 to do something you can do yourself and just keep the money? I was like, man, you smart. Like, man, I was getting a check for $6,000. So clearly, I was getting 7. He was taking a stack. He was getting 6. I didn't do nothing. So I'm like, all right, let me go through these tax returns real quick. So I go through it. I'm like, yo, this joint all wrong. I go to my homies like, yo, stop going on. This joint wrong.
That's where I was at.
They're like, you don't know what you're talking about, man. You're just a regular account. You're not a tax account. I'm like, no, bro. I'm telling you, this is wrong. I just read it. So I stopped going. So 2 years later, all my friends got audited.
Damn.
One of my homies owed 24 bands. He's paying it back forever. But everybody owed a big bill. He ended up going to do a jail time once everybody got caught and they snitched on him.
Of course they did. Ain't nobody going to jail for you fucking my taxes up.
Bruh.
Let's all come together.
I'm glad
Let's take that
I
to real
just
threat.
got just in time. I had just got out in time. It was that 3-year time, that time period, I was already gone.
You disengaged.
And I looked at all my homies and I was like, yo, I tell y'all. They were like, oh, you still don't know what you're talking about. I'm like, oh, that's fine. Oh, that's
That's
24.
the craziest part. I remember addressing people like, yo, you know it's bull, and they like, yeah, I mean, no, I got audited. It's good. No, it ain't. No, it
That's
ain't.
a worst case scenario.
No, it ain't. I've heard motherfuckers say that.
Yeah, and then go right back and do it again.
Yeah.
Same thing. Like, oh, they gonna catch me. Like, bro, you just gonna be struggling forever.
And I heard somebody say, how many times can they catch me? I said, every time. Every
It's
time.
your socials on it.
It's the United States of America. They're going to catch you every time.
Your socials on it.
Got
Where
you
gonna
again,
go?
Terry. Like, yeah. Let me ask you this. Does everybody need an accountant?
No.
Okay.
So you definitely don't need an accountant. When you say need an accountant, it means like someone you deal with on a regular basis. I would say you need somebody that's financially literate to do the tax return, which most people can't even read a tax return.
Right.
So that's first place. So you should actually deal with somebody who can actually teach you how to read it. Right. But you don't need an accountant. You can actually, because it's data entry from the start. It's the planning side that you lose out on though. So that's why I tell everybody, like, you're not paying me to get tax. You're paying for what I know. So you'll come in here, you might be in here for 15 minutes, but I can tell you 10 different things in that 15 minutes that can change your life. And then you can repeat the concept over and over and over again and grow off of that. So like I had a client who they didn't make that much and they had a kid. The first year when she had a kid, I'm like, dang, this is gonna be jacked up now. Like, you're gonna be in a jam at 19. But she was like, oh, I'll put that $500 up that you told me to save. And I was like, oh, all right, maybe you did hear me.
You said she was going to be in a jam?
Yeah, cause, I mean, she was 19. So at 19, she got a refund check for like $500. And then the following year, she came back with a kid. And I'm like, damn, man, it's going to make your life harder to get ahead because you're young with a kid.
But I thought having a kid will help you out.
Yeah, from a tax standpoint.
Right.
But I'm still thinking just in general.
yeah,
in life.
Financial planning.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
About milk and shit.
we was talking about school and everything.
You got to feed this little fucker.
I forgot about that.
So we talking about school and everything up front. And then what happened was, she was like, oh, I'll put the 500 up, though. I was like, all right, bet. You do be listening. And she's like, my boyfriend's here, too. Do it. Tell him whatever you told him to do. So we did a tax return with the kid. They had, she got a $5 refund check. She's like, I like, put that one up. She put that whole one up, too. Her boyfriend was claiming his sister or something like that at the same time. So he got another $6-7 grand. And he was like, they both put it into a CD. They came back the following year, and they had all the money from both years. Both of them got another big check. And then I put them through the low income program, and they bought a crib. Both of them they both were duplexes. They both were duplexes each. They moved in her duplex, rented his out, and rented her second floor out. So I'm like, man, y'all making more money than most people. You're not low income no more.
Damn.
So they're still clients to this day, and clearly they grew older, they got better jobs, and everything. But
Yeah.
they were already ahead of the curve than our parents,
Right.
Because they already was 20 owning duplexes already.
Right.
Just because they listened to what I was telling them. I've only been talking to them for maybe 20 minutes when I was doing the tax returns together. Like, because once we got in the system, I can bang your stuff out quick. So I'm literally just talking to them for like 20 minutes, and they picked it up.
Yeah.
You know how many people that I be talking to for an hour doing business tax returns, and they come back like, tell me what you did again.
I fucked up.
I'm about to say, me and my wife gonna come down and tell her. Tell her.
Yeah, I'm like, bro, y'all burning me out, man. I'm literally telling you what to do, and you just gotta copy it and do it over and over again, and it works for you. But you're like, or you might be like, I just need that big refund that one time, and you go down and get that big refund, but your habits and none of that don't change, so you're still stuck in the same situation over and over and over again. That's why I always repeat that it's not the refund that really matters. It's how the system is set up.
It is crazy because just being, I worked this up for so long, and just being around that what's the term you always use? That salt of the earth.
Oh, yeah.
You know, nose down, head down,
Blue collar working class.
Blue collar, being around them, they really do preach like people like they wait on tax return time, like wait on it. You know, scratch off, motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I don't hit no scratch offs, tax return. Like, that's the biggest thing of the year. And it's so crazy to hear you say, like, you shouldn't even be worried about that. Like, that shouldn't really be a thing. But in our culture, that really is like, you know, tax time. That's when the used car man got all the, you know, the Sebrings,
$3,000
shined up on the curb. All of that's like a real thing, and it's just crazy to hear you say that. It makes me look back on a lot of things I've seen through my life, like,
I mean, our objective is to build wealth. You can actually build wealth through tax returns if you just set your paperwork up right.
Right.
So, like, I know if you got bad spending habits, I do tell them to let them take too much out of your check because it'll curb your spending habits because it's not in your pocket now.
Right.
So I'd rather you got 3 kids. I'd rather you get a $10,000 check come tax season because you didn't have it in your pocket to blow it now.
Right.
So then I'm like, all right, take this 10, put it in this CD, do these things, and then I'll see you next year. Then by the time I can tell you what to keep doing with the money over and over and over.
Right.
Sometimes I make people pay their mortgages off quicker. It's just I'm just trying to get people to set themselves up for the long haul versus right now. So you can always it's like getting money on the back end is always better. That's just bottom line.
yeah, of course.
So that's everything about my life has always been the back
But
end.
the problem is getting people to the back end.
Yeah, pause, first of all.
This might be our best show we've done in a couple of years. Oh, the eyes. Yeah, no, brother. Smart ass Kelly. I get you. That's hilarious. You know what the hell I'm saying. It's getting people away from the mentality of wanting that money. Because, you know, the problem is when money touch your hands, the second it touch your hands, I got to go get something.
Yeah.
Correct.
I need a new hookah, something.
So don't let it touch your hands. Like pretty much. I say automatically once you get it, put it into a CD. So you only had it for seconds. Literally hit your bank account, you transfer it to your bank account. So you don't have the money. The more money you eliminate out of your pocket, the better the scenario. So I'm broke most of the time. And people think I be joking. Like I say I'm poor. So I see life differently. I think it's only rich and poor. I don't see middle class. So 1%
feels the same way.
1% of America make 700. I think is the number now. So everybody else is poor under that 700. And people be like, "Oh, no, I ain't poor. Like I made 300." Like, bro,
Like you're working poor.
Yeah, if you looking at somebody that making $2 million, look at you, they're like, "Oh, look at those poor people making $300,000."
Yeah.
So we're poor people, and we all together. So what I do is try to tell everything is for the long term. So what happened is, if you shift the money wherever it got to go, well, you're paying mortgages all faster or all those other things. You're just getting rid of the money. But all of that investing ends up giving you more back. That's what I said. How I ended up getting into that deal because I'm always spending my money. So I'm always broke. Like I rarely have cash. Like I'll maybe have, I think my bank account might got $50 in there right now. And I'm cool with that. I mean, clearly I got the credit and everything else, and I got a consistent cash flow.
You can feed yourself.
Yeah.
You can survive.
So,
Sizzling.
I don't need much. But I know I got assets sitting everywhere that'll take care of me whenever something comes up. And then the next big deal comes in, like, damn, where you get all that from? And I'm like, oh, man, I had this sitting over there or that doing this. Right. And when I put them all together, it works in my favor. Yeah. So when you take the money up front, it's always going to give you the worst possible deal. If you watch that, there was an interview with Magic Johnson was talking about when Nike came to him. He went with, I think it was Converse or Adidas or whatever, because they gave him the cash up front. He said that cost him like
$400 million or something.
Yeah.
LeBron recently said on the Kelsey's podcast that when he went to their meeting with Reebok, he said at the meeting they gave me a check for $10 million.
And he turned it down.
And he was like, I'm in high school. We came here, me, Maverick, and my mom. And it's like, I don't have any money, but it's just like, why y'all giving me $10 million today?
Right.
Master P said the same thing. Like, why you giving me $1 million today?
Yeah, if you offer me $1 million, I'm worth at least 3 or 4.
Yo, did y'all see the interview? 50 did the interview when he first came out too, and Tony Yeo was like, "Man, I want to beat 50 the fuck up that day," because I'm like, "Bro, we ain't got no money. You about to take me back to the projects?"
Yeah.
And 50's like, "No, we just gonna wait."
Yeah, 50 was shopping.
Yeah, because most of the time you get more money. It takes a whole lot longer, and it's a lot less work. A lot more work. Most people don't want to work.
Yeah.
So that's what jams it up. Whereas me, I don't want the money up front. I'm cool with being. I've been broke all my life. So there's no reason why I'm going to keep the same habit, and I don't believe in that whole thing. You can't call yourself poor, because my mentality don't think that I'm like really poor. Like, clearly we ain't homeless or nothing like that.
Right.
But I'm in the concept of money. We all broke. I want to get to where those 1%ers at, and they're doing whatever they're doing. That don't mean just because they're making $700 a year. You can already be a millionaire and only making $100,000. Right. So, but you can still consider yourself poor though, because of the scale. It depends on who you're looking at. So it's subjective to everybody on what it is. So when I'm sitting at work and I'm looking at all these millionaires and I'm doing all the accounting and everything else. Yeah. And they average Joes like us. And I'm like, I can really be you. Like, so I'm coming home like, I'm definitely broke. So I'm talking to my friends and they're like, hey, we can do this.
Right.
We just gotta wait and put the work in up front. Then when it turns around, like how we talk about the deal between us, I'm like, hey, it can work out. It might take us 3 years.
Right.
Then we can do whatever we want.
Do we do whatever the fuck we want?
And then, but at the same time, when Kay was like, oh yeah, we about to do, I'm like, I'm gonna save all my money. Because I'm already thinking for the next plan.
Right.
Like, I'm like, I want to do something even bigger now. So we can be bringing in a boatload of cash. And I'm like, I'm still broke, bro. I ain't got it. Because I got a big new dream that I'm after that might require everything again. So, and at that time, like the part of helping people, I'm big on going into my network of friends. So instantly I go to them and say, hey, this is what I'm thinking. What y'all think? Now, some might be like, I'm with it. Some like, I'll take all the money too. Then we might can put it all together. It speeds the process up now.
Right.
Because you get more as a group than by yourself. Yeah. And I think that's, as a unit, that's the part we struggle on, is we just don't work together.
Oh, for sure.
So like, it's 6 accountants in here. Like, and I'm blessed for them. But I've had a bunch of accountants in and out of this office, and it'd be rough holding us together.
Yeah.
But this core group I have now, they're great.
You think this your best group you had?
By far. Like, they can function 100% on their own. There's no egos involved.
Yeah.
We have disagreements. We adults. We like, it's cool. Try to drink.
Yeah.
And then we go back. It's like a family. So we get it done. Everybody make their own schedule. We all mature in our ways and habits, and we're not overlapping each other. So everybody make their own schedule.
Right.
It's simple. Hey, what days you want to work? All right, this is what your days is. And then we communicate each other with days we got to shift off or something come up. And once you set a precedent in the office, we all go by it.
Right.
And it's not just one person leading. So it's not like I'm just coming in. I'm like, this is what it is. I'm asking questions for my team every day because we all see life differently.
Right.
So they can see something, especially if I'm engulfed in everything else. They might be seeing something I'm not seeing. So I want to know what your input is so that we can get bigger and better. And what that happened is, now when I'm telling them, like, hey, I did this over here, y'all should do it too. Then they're making more money too. And it's bigger than just doing tax.
Right.
It's just from every part of the angle where we just making more money just because our habits. We might even physically make more in income, but we saving money and doing things together, whereas we can diversify our cash flow now.
Something else powerful you said when we went out was, once I hit my savings threshold, everything else goes to investments.
So I was saying for it's not really a savings threshold. It's only saving when I have something to accomplish.
Got it.
So most of the time I don't save. I don't advise that for most people. I tell everybody else to save.
Yeah.
But you got to be good with your habits to not save. So I have lines of credit sitting everywhere to bail me out, or credit cards, like I'm big on credit. So if I open a new company, Amex giving me the platinum Amex, and they don't have a limit to them. Right. So I'm going to run that joint up 100, 200 grand and just go through life. But that's not a normal thing for everybody. Whereas I know I'm not running those numbers up like that high. It's just for in case something happens.
In case.
Right. So I can have $50 in my bank account. Because you can call me tomorrow. I'm like, I got Amex. We going. But then I'm going to pay it right back as quick as I can to get the bill down. So that, because I want to keep my credit as free as possible.
Right.
So that if something pops up, a new building might pop up or a new investment might pop up. I need to be able to turn to the bank and like, hey, I need that money now. So I can get that new building. But if I know it's something drastic coming along for the deal we're in, I knew I had to start stacking my bricks. So I started saving everything for that moment because I had to come up with that hefty down payment. And luckily I pulled it off in time. And that's how everything worked out.
This has been a great cover. I'm enjoying this. I'm gonna come and sit and talk with you, man.
Yeah, man, pull up, man.
Open my file.
We got tequila.
Right. When can I do a G-Wagon?
I already know the one thing is bring the tequila in.
Bring the tequila is good.
Yeah, I don't know about coming to one of these dinners. I like steak. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, no, you a knowledgeable dude. You know what I'm saying? You can tell you definitely got your mind in the right place. It's a lot to think about.
Yeah.
Seriously. Like, just because the way, and you gotta remember, a lot of us come from, what do you say on Coming to America? Meager accommodations. Like, a lot of us come from parents who didn't know any of this stuff, who didn't have this knowledge. We kind of just go through life. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm telling you, hearing somebody say that you shouldn't even be waiting on a tax return is crazy.
Because it goes against everything.
Because it goes against everything you've learned or heard your whole entire life.
Yeah, tax time is time to pop bottles. Like,
I mean, it's just at some point, I tell everyone, so we all grew up. It's not like one opportunity is better because we all grew up in that way. So it's not like my parents didn't know it either. So you ever see the movie Slumdog Millionaire?
Say it again?
Slumdog Millionaire?
Yeah.
So in the movie, he didn't learn it. He was poor. Right. He won because of all those life experiences he had. So he just kept remembering something he went through each time. And that's pretty much how I got here. So each time I just kept going through something and I remember it and I'm like, oh, that makes sense. So my thinking, it reassured my thinking to know I was on the right path every time. So like, I wrote a business plan when I was 16 with one of my homies and I was like, but everybody thought I was retarded. So I'm just like, I'm like, oh, why are you writing business plans? Like, what are you doing, bro? That ain't cool.
Right.
So, but then on the back end later on, once I met my homie in college, it made sense when me and him started doing business together.
Right.
And then when we started doing business, he was like, oh, you crazy too. And when he seen the numbers, he's like, all right, man, I'm going to just hang with you. It's cool though. Right? Then we started making our money. Then when I got out and I was like, I'm just looking for random things. I used to be in a union working with my uncle as a construction worker. So I was already good with my hands. So I was just like, real estate makes a lot of sense. As soon as I came out of college, I went back to the bottom. Me and all my friends making the same amount of money. They moved to the suburbs. I moved to the bottom. I'm the dummy. So they got $200,000 house. I bought a house down the bottom for 75 bands. I knew Drexel and Penn had to expand at some point. So within 2 years, my property went from $75,000 to $250,000. They still was paying. I'm paying $600 a month for mine, and I'm renting the second floor out. They paying $2,000 a month living out like King of Prussia or wherever else they're thinking it's nice.
Yeah, you literally living for free.
Yeah, I mean, I won, and my house worth more
Yeah,
now.
your house worth.
And that same house now is worth $700 down there.
Right.
So I've always thought that way.
Did
so
you keep the house?
Yeah, I will never get rid of it. No, I rent them out. That's what. So I've never actually sold a house. Everything I've purchased are all good investments.
Beautiful.
And I just turn them into just cash cows, and over and over again. And as long as I stay poor, I just keep dumping the money back into them every time. So, and what it does is it keeps just building. So all of those things that I've done, like teaching at the community college and working 14 jobs and doing customer service at where I worked at, Blockbuster, Foot Locker, parking lots, all that taught me customer service. Here dealing with regular people now. So I'm out here. Otherwise, I'd be snapping with some of these people that be coming here and be
You
tripping.
said you worked in parking lots.
Yeah,
Like
I was
what?
like a parking lot attendant. Like
Oh,
driving the cars
okay,
and parking
okay.
them all the time. And I worked a million jobs, man. I've always worked 3 and 4 jobs at a time. So now all of those experiences that I brought together with the accounting background has made everything come full circle now. So it's not like that I was taught all these things when I was younger. It's just I kept picking them up. And when I'm around people that know, I listen to everybody. So it ain't nobody too dumb to give me the janitor or be the owner. I want to know what y'all know because some of that I probably can use. And then I just put it all together and I come back to my friends like, hey, look, this is what I figured out. And I try to put everybody, as many people on as I can because I've always known the more of us, the faster I can go. But most people be like flaking most of the time. Like they'll be around for a little bit, but at least they're around enough to where I can get to my next level. And then if you come with me, I'm telling you up front to come with me. But if you choose like, I might want to leave. All right, leave. That's fine. Right. And I'll fill that spot, and I'll bring the next crew with me, and we run it up as much as we can. And then we all just kept doing it together. But we can stick it all together. Like if I had all of the accountants that came through here, I would probably own the city by now. It's just simple because it might be only maybe black accounting firms, like where you really have accountants. Most people don't have accountants in their office. It might be one accountant and then there's a whole bunch of preparers, or all of them might be preparers. It might be 2, 3 of us in the city who actually have accountants under one company, or it might be 6 accountants. They got all separate companies and they act like they're together. But it might only be like there's very few of us that actually have accounting firms where other accountants are actually in the office working with us. Yeah, where that's what we offer, and we offer it affordable. So and my team see the vision of it, so we can build it out as a unit, which helps us grow everywhere. So doing that, so that's how we turn it to restaurants and daycares and clubs and home care, everything. So I'm just literally on my experience, and I'm learning it from reading the books. So as I'm doing everybody's taxes and doing their bookkeeping and teaching them and going through their pitfalls, I'm sitting and pulling it apart, and I'm like, man, we can pull this off.
You're like the ghost of accounting. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
That's funny because that's what me and my
ended
friends
up with the truth. Yeah, like
when we bought the club, that's what we considered our act. So there's 3 of us. Okay. So that's how we look at the whole philosophy of the whole power scenario.
Right. Yeah, you Dre. Every one of them little fro hugs
Dre crazy.
That's funny as shit.
Hey, it's always about the end goal. It's never about the middle. We just have fun in the middle. We don't really be knowing what's going on. It's just a good time we having.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So you can go back and just talk about like, remember we lost that $50,000 last year. I'm like, it was a terrible thing, But at least you tried. Yeah. And then at some point it hits. And when it hits,
gamblers, we had them conversations too.
It is. It's exactly what that. It's just calculated though. Yeah. So it's like I'm counting the cards.
I seen crazy shit. I don't know why I just randomly thought about this. I seen somebody hit, blackjack. I seen somebody hit on 20 and pull an ace. Craziest shit I ever
Wow.
seen. Yeah, he was drunk as shit.
Had to be.
Drunk. One of our old heads, he was drunk. And we was like, yo, stop. He was like, no, hit, motherfucker. Ace. Dealer showed 20. He's like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that's love.
Yeah, he ended up in rehab and, really fucked up later on. But that night, he was over. You know
Ended up being an inspiration for a Dare commercial.
But Jordan said, just stop.
Stop. Get some love.
Some of it's timing and luck.
Hell yeah,
Right
dude.
place, right time, and it's just your turn.
Hell
You
yeah.
just got to be always ready and prepared for that. And most of the time, I'm always ready and prepared. And I'm ready to bet it all. Gambling is not a bad thing, as long as you can count the cards.
Yeah.
So as the accountant, it's like I'm counting the cards. Like I know exactly.
Yeah, it's essentially what you're doing.
Yeah, I know how much I might lose, or how long it might take me, or if I'm gonna lose it, I know I'm gonna get the money within a certain amount of time. Like one of my close friends, Todd, like he owns Strickland Electric.
Okay.
We always go back and forth. Like we always bumping heads because he think I be talking crazy sometimes. And I'm like, all right, we can do these type of numbers. He'd be like, man, that don't even make sense. And then I just run down the spreadsheet and he'd just be staring at me. But then after a while, he'd see a couple people reaction. He'd be like, I'm gonna do it with you anyway because it sounds like you're gonna pull it off. But it's me. He knows I'm gonna bet it on.
And you would hate to be the guy that somebody as smart as you brung them this brilliant idea and they
missed it.
And they missed it, and then now you over hit the projections, and now you just on the sideline feeling like a jackass.
Your man, the boy you always talk about.
Gary V.
Missed
on Uber 3 times.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Missed on Uber 3 times just because he's like, I just can't wrap I'm from New York, yellow cabs, like how is this going to? He said, but looking back, I should have gave him the money because he was my friend. Whether I believe in it or not, it was such a nominal amount of money. He said, I'm doing $27 million a year online selling liquor. It's $50,000. Just give them the fucking money.
Especially if you. Just even think about that's how we got into restaurants. Me and my partner Allen, Chef Allen, in Virginia. That's how we just going back and forth. We chopping it up, and we just having a good time partying together.
Right.
And the funny thing is, most people look at me as I'm a party person, but we be dead smack in the middle of clubs having meetings. Mm-hmm. Most of the time, that's when I can think the clearest.
Right.
So we literally be out drinking. And I can be sitting there, and they used to hate me because we're having conversation, and they're like, "Oh, we trying to have a good time." I'm like, no, team meeting. And they would ignore me first, but then after the next day, they're like, "Oh, so what was you talking about?" I'm like, "Bro, I have no clue. Like, you should have caught me."
The hypnotic was I was on one.
Now we be in the middle of the club. I'm like, "Yo, we having full meetings. Everybody gotta get out the way. We chopping it up, figuring it all out."
That second Incredible Hulk had me thinking lucid.
It works every time. That's like our studio. Yeah. So with that being said, that's how we going back and forth, boom, boom, and that's how we came with he already had the plan and idea and everything. And I'm like, you my man.
Yeah.
Like, I get some cheesesteaks out of the deal. I mean, what's the worst? Like, we gonna do this together. We gonna have a good time. We gonna blow the money anyway.
It's hard to get people to see vision like that. That's human nature. You know what I mean? Difficult. I saw a thing the other day. The girl was, the new couches got the USB ports.
Oh yeah.
And she was charging the phone on the couch. No, she was charging her Ring camera on the couch. And she was like, "Yeah, I'm charging my doorbell on the couch." And I was like, "Can you imagine explaining this to somebody from the 70s?" Like, "Yeah, I'm charging my doorbell on the couch."
Right.
Yeah, that's funny as shit.
Like, even the person who came up with the cup holder in the house. Genius.
Yeah.
I ain't gotta knock my stuff over on the ground. I gotta keep going up.
Yo, it's crazy. I saw a video. The guy he got wrongfully convicted of a murder back in like 72 or some shit like that. But he did. I want to say he did 49 years, and they let him out wrongfully convicted. And when his family came, they had like a big press conference, whatever he was gonna. And he got in the car and he couldn't put the seatbelt on because he never seen a 3-point seatbelt. I'm like, damn, because 71,
Right.
That was, but he didn't understand the concept of the 3-point. And when it was like he couldn't work a 3-point seatbelt, I'm like, what the fuck is a 3-point seatbelt? My dad's like a seatbelt, and I'm like, why they call it 3 points? Like 1, 2, 3. I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah, when he went in, it was one
point.
Right.
But I'm like, fuck is a 3-point seatbelt? Like, we just call it a seatbelt. But he's 49 years, he never seen a 3-point seatbelt.
Wow.
So it's imagine him, like trying to explain how we going, like, don't even work.
So for me, most stuff I don't even try to understand it. I feel like I'll figure it out. Like I'm an entrepreneur first. So I'm more of a parachute type of guy, jump off the bridge. And we figured out, we trying to build a parachute on the way down. So when we talking, I'm like, yeah, I don't know what you're talking about, bro.
Right.
Figure it out.
Yeah. He straight tells me, I'm trying to he's like, listen, stop over explaining. Tell me what the fuck to do. You got expertise in this. Tell me what to do. I'm gonna trust your expertise. Let's build a plan around that. I trust you. When it comes to something business related, tax related, defer to me. Same thing. Everybody gotta have their defined roles in order to fucking make this shit work.
I feel the same way. He came to me with the idea for the podcast. You remember? Like, he came to my crib. We in the kitchen, and he's just running down how he's been studying this and how to meet this, meeting that. And I'm just like, yeah, all right. You want to have this? Like, because I'm just, whatever. But that's how some people are. I'm one of those people where I kind of got to, I got to see something.
You gotta actualize it.
Yeah.
In order
Like how you say you jump out with the parachute. I'm like, oh, this is a long way down.
I mean, but what we going to do anyway? What, I'm going to watch him jump and I'll be sitting in the plane? Nah, now you had all the fun. I'm coming.
When they jump out, are we going back down now?
You got to go first, though. You got to jump first. Then I'll go in after, but nah, you got to go first. Hey, you already know your people's got the work ethic. Like, I know my guys work.
Yeah.
So I'm willing to bet on my team against anybody because they work. It's not even for me, they work for them. So they're going to grind their way regardless for themselves, which makes me trust them even more that I know they're not going to leave me stranded because they're leaving themselves stranded.
Right.
Absolutely.
And you are expert in your field, and I'm not learning it.
Yeah.
So, hey, listen, tell me what you do, because what I do is, as we're going along, I handle the numbers. So one thing, I see things aren't working out. I already seen it, and I'm like, nah, you got to make these adjustments. But I know my limitations because I'm the one handling the books.
Right.
So I don't really need to know, even with podcasts, I don't need to know. I know his media. I need to know our control. I need to control some of it in some way, somehow. Let me see the numbers.
Right.
I don't even know what happened in the middle.
Yeah.
Like, that's why y'all guys are great. Then I'll be like, hey, let's work out something to where we can do it. Like, even with construction, like when Ty comes through, we're rehabbing on the daycare right now. He's like, oh man, we got to do all this work. Bro, get off my phone, bro. Like, I don't care about none of that. Let me know what the bill is so I can figure out how much I'm going to pay.
Okay.
Same way in the restaurant. Like, man, I'm not cooking.
Yeah.
Like, you the chef, bro. Do what you do. Tell me what it is. And then once I see the numbers based off of the idea, I can see what tweaks to make. Like, oh, these things don't work.
Right.
You got to make the adjustments on this side. You got to figure out what the adjustments is, though. But I know these things got to have a tweak somewhere. That's the point of, like, even when you think about companies, you have your CFO, your COO, and the CEO. The CFO will just tell you a number. The CEO gives you a vision. The CEO is the operational person.
Right.
CFO don't know what's happening in the back office all the time. He just knows somebody messed this number up and we lost some money.
Right. Now I got to back into this transaction to see how the fuck we lost the
What you do?
Yeah, what did you do?
In this little section right here, you go figure it out.
You fucked up.
I'll see you next month. Then everybody's doing their part is a push and pull, and there's gonna be beefs and everybody going back and forth. But at some point, if everybody's doing their job, it works out.
And if everybody's dedicated to the same vision, there's no disagreement you can't get through in order to get to the end goal.
Right. 100%. Or you just gotta pack your bags.
Yeah, you gotta get the fuck off. You gotta get off the bus.
Yeah.
Like, because the bus is going where it's going. You gonna have to get off this joint if you don't have the shared vision.
Correct. That's all it is. And I mean, to bring it back full circle, that's a financial thing. So that's why I said already I'm counting cards. So if I'm handling all the numbers and I got the vision and I'm seeing and I'm putting it all together. Now it's like the mastermind, like you putting all the pieces together to make it work out where everybody can work at their strengths now.
Right.
And then since I'm sitting here and not do tax, now I'm telling everybody, hey, bring your taxes here. And then I'm literally pulling everybody's tax paperwork apart, like, all right, so you can do these things to make this happen, so you can do things on your own.
Right.
And at some point, we all can come together to pull something off on an even bigger scale later on.
Yeah.
And we just keep repeating the cycle over and over and over again. So that's why we don't really want refund checks. We want the bank to give us more money. So what am I gonna do with $10,000? Like, that's not even that won't even cover the electrical bill on the property. So electrical might run you for a small property, might 25 bands. So 10,000 is not. I mean, it's gonna help.
It helped, but it ain't the end. It ain't the end all be all.
Well, I'd rather get an IRS that 10 and then go ask them for 100.
Yeah.
Like, I want the big number. I don't want the small number. So here, take your 10. Even if it was 500. Here, take your 500. Because I'm going to Santander and I'm asking them for $5 million. That's just how I look at it. Now they might be like, nah, that's too much. All right, give me 2.
Yeah.
You don't got $2 million? No. Right? I'm just asking for money from them every time. I just keep hitting the bank. Hey, what y'all got over there for me? Every time I pay the IRS, I'm looking for the bank to give me some more money.
Yeah, I mean, it's all mindset.
100%.
Yeah, 10,000, you get a used date just. You gotta go to Miami for 2 nights.
That's it.
That's about
You
it.
done.
Yeah.
But if you get arrested 10,000 and you go ask the bank for 100, Now we got 40 just to do all that stuff.
Oh yeah, that's
And
new
we took
day.
the 6.
Papers, everything.
We only needed 60 to pull it together. And we got extra 40 to play with. I need a bigger number all the time.
Hell yeah.
That's smart as hell. Two last things real quick till we get out of here, because I know we up against it with these Jones. Give us some of the important dates related to this tax season that's coming up that people need to be aware of. In regards to like filing stuff, whether it be personal, business, and all of that. And then when you come back, and like a month and a half, whatever, we're going to talk about all business related shit.
So right now, the very first date that's coming up is the 27th for this month. That's when the IRS start accepting tax returns. So you can file your tax returns now. You can come in, you can make your appointment, come in, get everything done. You don't even have to come in. You can actually get your paperwork done remotely too.
Oh shit.
So you can email us, or you can call the office and then email us all the paperwork over at tptaxes@tptaxes.com.
What's the phone number?
215-TP-Taxes. Everything is TP Taxes. So social media is TP Taxes. Phone number is 215-TP Taxes. Email is tptaxes@tptaxes.com. So you can actually just email us the documents.
Yeah.
And then, because we got clients in LA, we got California, Houston, Texas, Atlanta, Minnesota, Chicago. So we cover pretty much everywhere.
Got you.
So we're doing over 1,000 tax returns in a season, which the average always might be only doing maybe a decent one, 400 or 500 maybe.
Yeah.
So we're doing over 1,000 tax returns in a tax
So that
season.
means we got to get that up. We got to get that number up.
Yeah, definitely
We got
want
to
to
get
get
that
the number up.
number up so we can get this building rehabbed.
For sure. And that's because we got so many people in here working. And we just, around the clock, just banging it out.
Yeah.
So on the 27th, we actually start doing start submitting the tax returns to the IRS. So I'll be in here at midnight pushing everything out. But you can get your taxes done now. You can email them in remotely or schedule an appointment and come in and you want to do it face-to-face. The next important date would be March 15th. March 15th is for all the corporations, partnerships, nonprofits. So they have to be done because they're trying to schedule to get all those people done so you can get the scheduled season and everything out. I mean, the K1s out of those tax returns to all the people. So you can have all the personal tax returns done by April 15th.
Got it.
So this the 27th for the submittals, March 15th for corporations, partnerships, and April 15th for the end of the year. But you want to get them all done now. But bottom line, you want to get everything out the way now so that you know if you owe money or not. Then you got till April 15th to pay that bill.
Right.
So you want to get as much done as possible ASAP.
So don't wait. In the words of Wallow, don't wait till it's too late.
With people who file W-2s and W-4s, people just like they go on and you can do your taxes for free on the website. Do you advise that or do you?
So I'm not against it, right? You got a W-2, but then you're not getting none of that information. So what's more important to you? So again, when you go on a TurboTax, some of them be free, but when you file a state, you got to pay like $50.
Yeah.
So you pay $50 to the IRS and learn nothing. But I literally just said, just pay the $75 and I can teach you something.
Right.
So for $25, you get to learn a lot more and helps you in the long haul. That's why the first thing I said, you're not paying me for a tax return. You're paying me to learn what I know. So if you know Adrian Block charging you $400 and I'm saying $75, why would you not give up the $75 versus you pay $50 then you go buy some food with your $25?
Right.
Then you're not getting nowhere.
And you don't even got to come in the office now. You can
Don't
just
even
send
gotta
it and just pay your $70.
Right. But you get the educational side is what's the most important. Like that's why I even hate when people say like, oh, school's not important. Like half of it's coming from school that I know to make all these adjustments and things of that nature.
Right.
So yeah, I'm not against it if you know what you're doing. I'm not even against you going to your aunt if she knows what she's doing. But most of the time you don't know what you're doing. So give it up. It's like
Get that little funky quarter up and learn something.
yeah, why even hurt? You're hurting yourself by not knowing.
Give it up. That should be a slogan on all. Give it up.
TP taxes. Give it up.
Give it up.
And then the last thing, a big talking point end of the year, beneficial ownership information paperwork with these corporations, LLCs, and all of that. Walk us through what this is as best you can and why it's important people that with businesses get this stuff filled up.
So right now, it's not due now.
Okay, it's not due now.
Yeah, they keep going back and forth. 1 minute is due, but they keep fighting in court. So 1 minute they're approving it, the next minute they're not. It's the IRS though. You know the IRS is going to get what they want some way, somehow, at some point.
Yeah.
So it's better off getting it completed now because you will have to do it later on.
It's better off. So basically, it's better off to have it and not need it than need it and not have it.
Correct. because at some point you're going to have to do it.
You're going to have to do it.
Now think about it. When the rush comes, the price goes up.
Yeah.
So right now, like we're doing it for $100.
Got it.
Now once the IRS passes it and they're like, oh, you only got 2 weeks, it won't be $100 no
It's
more.
going to be $400.
Right. Now you're in the jail. So you better off just getting it over and done with and out the way because it's not hurting you. More so is they're doing it so they can track people. Right. When you got so many people doing so many illegal things over here.
Pointed at me.
They're like, oh, me? Oh, that's me?
Oh, shit.
And you got people that, like, everybody started LLC. So if you have, like, a partnership corporation, all the time, all of the members are not on that paper. Right. So they can't find out all the people they got to go after.
Right.
So that's why they're doing it. First of all, we all shouldn't even have these LLCs and all of that and not be utilizing because it's a waste. You're supposed to at least file a zero tax return if you have a tax ID number. But now you just filed an extra tax return and pay me extra money for something that you're not even using, which was a waste again.
Right.
It just seemed cool to start a business.
But financial Instagram told me I got to wake up and get an LLC before I brush my teeth.
Yeah, that's how they made their money. They ain't made money from business. They made money by you selling you a dream and then you buying it.
Boy definitely said that the joke. It's like, you wake up, you start an LLC, brush your teeth later.
Yeah, they just sell you with anything. But yeah, it's just you should do it now.
Yes.
Just to get it over with.
Get it over with, man. And this is the man right here, and all of the other accountants that we got here in the office are the people in order to get everything that you need to get done. So we got $75 personal tax returns all season.
Yes. As long as the basic tax return.
Basic tax return. You got some complex shit. It's on charge.
Totally different.
Come in with that bag of parlay.
Give it up. Beneficial ownership information. Right now, you got LLCs, S corps, whatever, $100 for right now. When the crunch gets on, they go back to court. They get approval and passes. It might quadruple, might go 5x. Who knows? Depending on when it is. So get that in also. And like you said, everything is TP Taxes. So it's tptaxes@gmail.com.
No, so it's tptaxes@tptaxes.com for the email, and then everything on social media, everything is TP Taxes.
Yeah.
Mine's is TP
_
the tax man. The phone number is 215 TP Taxes. So it makes it pretty much easy.
Yeah.
Pretty much easy to find us.
Very easy to find.
Oh, you type in TP Taxes, it's gonna pop up somewhere, some cheap for.
Man, this is literally probably my favorite episode we did like in a long
this
time,
excellent.
man. Because we learned, we laughed.
I think this is the first time a guest pauses. So, I'm still on that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that. This has been fun.
I'm gonna grow up one day. Not today.
This has been dope, man.
Like I said, it's a good friend of mine, man. Somebody I known for a long time. We recently reconnected, and he's a brilliant brother, and he's a resource that has the knowledge, has the information, wants to help. Use him as a resource for your taxes, your financial planning. All of that stuff. He's not getting, billed out at probably $500 an hour to be a CFO for no reason.
So before we end, right?
Yeah.
So I want to bring light on the club that we're building.
Yes.
So I don't know if we told you or not. That. So we own a club. It's gonna be 7,300 square feet, members only, all upscale. Restaurant on the first floor. The next 3 levels is going to be the lounge areas. Memberships by each floor grades. You can see a clear shot of downtown, the skyline. From the 3rd and 4th floor of the building, because the whole wall will be glass, so you can see it. Everybody need to go register. Is opulencephl.com is the website you'll go register that. We're trying to bring back the old lifestyle of actually having a good time when you're out. And since we're older now, there's nowhere for us to really go.
Right.
So as a kid, I remember Pegasus and everything. Like my uncles was doing that. I'm like, man, I can't wait till I get older so I can get in there. Everybody was dressed up nice and he was having a good time. He was in their 30s and their 40s.
Water bottles and slacks.
And you thought everybody was getting money.
Yeah.
Everybody was getting money then. But we want to bring that feel back though. Like it's nowhere. We all in the house. We all going from here. We're gonna be in the house.
So my uncle met my aunt at Gotham.
See?
And then he got a picture of them like on one of their dates back then. He got, remember when always used to wear that leather with the belt? The belt. And as a young man, I always like, man, I can't wait to tie up on a leather. And
We got cheated.
I ain't got no belt with a leather. All my leathers ain't got no belt with it. Like I be mad as shit about that. That's hilarious.
Those are the times.
Yeah, we trying to bring all of that nightlife back. We don't have a nightlife here at all.
No.
And a safe environment, but it's more geared to professional jobs.
To that point, I don't know if this is gonna make either of y'all laugh the way it made me laugh. So the other night, I was looking for somewhere to eat late night. It was like 1 in the morning. And I was like, yo, where can you get like decent food? Remember back in the day, you could just go eat at different places.
Anywhere.
10, 15 different places.
And I typed in top eateries in Philadelphia late night, and an article came up from the Philadelphia, the top 10 places to eat in Philadelphia after midnight. Number 4 was Wawa. I said, damn, man.
Terrible.
We down bad.
I said,
Terrible.
go get you a ham and cheese and eat it on the trash can.
Yeah, man. You can
Hey,
get a good meal anywhere.
number 4 was Wawa. I was like, damn.
Bad business. That's definitely bad business.
bad,
I don't like Wawa, but yeah, that's after a long night of drinking and you just being out, I ain't Wawa ain't it.
But it's just so crazy because even when I was a young boy, it was like, yo, it was diners, it was mad restaurants in Chinatown. It was places to just go.
Right.
Now it's just
Cooked.
that.
We cook, man.
You gotta go to New York Chicken and go in the house, and it ain't safe there.
Yeah, you gotta call them for curbside. Like, I paid extra $5, bring it to the car.
And you know you down bad when you're at a place called Chicken Fried Chicken. It's bad out here. Seriously. But Wawa was number 4. I said, damn.
Yeah, we try to fix all of that.
Yeah, man.
So
And we gonna have a media division. I'm heading up the media division. We're gonna be developing streaming opportunities, podcasts, different stuff for people, man. Doing photo shoots, getting people brain kits, all types of stuff, man. We're gonna really, redefine the business landscape in Philly from a social club and from a multimedia standpoint. So,
And the big part that we will be able to network together, like everybody that's doing something with itself in this one location, that we can all network and grow together. So, because that's the one thing I'm cheating again because of everybody on my computer. So I can go through a network with everybody. Whereas you got to ask me, what if we can get everybody in one building so that you guys can just be having a drink and talking to everybody.
Right.
Then it works in all our favor even better.
Literally, give them the website again for for the social club so they can go ahead, register, and get some information on what we building.
So you register at opulencephl.com. And then as you scroll down the bottom, it'll give you the tab where you can just register and put all your information so you can keep all the updates.
Dope, man. Like I said, man, I know Matt feels the same way. This one of our best episodes we did in a while, man. With a guest, just going through so much information. Definitely look forward to having you back in a couple weeks. We're going to drill in on these business taxes, talk some more shit and, have some more fun. But in the meantime, man, everything TP Taxes, easy to find on the net, easy to find via phone. Make sure y'all get y'all returns done. Make sure, y'all need financial planning, y'all need help, all of that different stuff, man. This is the person to talk to. Absolutely. And if he's not personally available, he could point you to the right accountant here in the firm.
We always help you as a whole.
We add the whole team. You know what I'm saying? You pay for time, you get the team.
Get the team.
You get the team.
You know the name of this episode going to be called Give It Up. Straight up. I enjoy myself, bro. I appreciate you this, bro.
Thanks for having me, man.
Appreciate you,
y'all
brother.
for sure.
Definitely. We out.
Peace.